First Contact Symphony. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Resonance Station Alpha, watching Earth's blue marble spin lazily below. 20 years of studying quantum physics had led to this moment, yet nothing in her training had prepared her for the sight before her. The void between Earth and the Moon was filled with dancing lights, crystalline structures that moved with impossible grace, each one the size of a small city. Dr. Chen, her AI assistant's voice was unusually tentative. They're responding to our quantum beacon, but not in any way we predicted. Sarah watched as one of the crystalline entities broke formation, approaching the station with deliberate slowness. Its surface rippled with patterns of light that reminded her of the aurora borealis, but in colors she couldn't quite name. "Deploy the quantum sensors," she ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Full spectrum analysis. The station's advanced sensors hummed to life, surrounding the approaching entity in invisible fields of quantum detection equipment. The readings that flooded her holographic display made Sarah's scientific mind reel. "This is impossible," Dr. James Kumar, her chief physicist, muttered beside her. "These beings, they're not just using quantum mechanics. They are quantum mechanics. Their entire existence operates on principles we barely understand." The crystalline entity halted 5 kilometers from the station. Its surface erupted in cascading patterns of light that made Sarah's vision blur. The station's computers struggled to process the incoming data. "It's trying to communicate," Sarah realized, watching the patterns repeat in complex sequences. But not through radio waves or light. It's using quantum entanglement itself as a language. 20 years ago, Sarah had proposed the quantum language theory, the idea that advanced civilizations might evolve to communicate through quantum states rather than conventional signals. Her colleagues had called it impossible. Now, floating before her was living proof. "Initialize the quantum resonance protocol," she commanded. The station's newly installed quantum computer spun up, its experimental systems designed to detect and replicate quantum states coming online for the first time in a real-world scenario. Warning lights flashed across her console. "Commander," her eye warned, "attempting to interface with their quantum signals could overload our systems. We've never tested the protocol at this scale." Sarah's fingers flew across the holographic controls, making minute adjustments. Sometimes the greatest discoveries require the greatest risks. Humanity didn't reach the stars by playing it safe. The crystalline entity's patterns intensified, and suddenly Sarah felt something, a presence vast and alien, brushing against her consciousness through the quantum interface. The sensation was like nothing she'd ever experienced, as if her mind was expanding beyond the confines of normal space-time. "They're not just communicating," she gasped, understanding flooding through her. "They're sharing consciousness itself. Every pattern, every quantum state. It's not just data, it's experience, memory, emotion." The entity's surface blazed with new patterns, and through the quantum interface, Sarah felt something that transcended language. Curiosity, wonder, and most surprisingly, recognition. They had been watching humanity, studying us, waiting for the moment we developed the ability to truly perceive them. "Dr. Kumar," Sarah said, her voice filled with wonder, "send a message to Earth Control. Tell them we were right. We're not alone, and we're not just making first contact. We're making first consciousness." The crystalline being's patterns shifted again, and through the quantum link, Sarah understood its invitation. Humanity had finally developed enough to join a vast community of quantum-aware civilizations, species that experienced reality on levels we were only beginning to comprehend. As she prepared to send humanity's first true quantum response, Sarah couldn't help but smile. Years of theoretical work, countless failed experiments, and endless skepticism from her peers had led to this moment. Humanity was about to take its first step into a larger universe, not through conventional space travel, but through the fundamental fabric of reality itself. The quantum computer hummed, translating Sarah's carefully crafted response into patterns of entangled particles. Through the viewing window, The crystalline entity's surface erupted in what she somehow knew was joy, a cascade of colors that defied human perception. This wasn't just first contact. This was the beginning of humanity's quantum evolution. Through the quantum interface, Sarah felt the entity's final message of the day. Welcome, children of Earth, to the symphony of consciousness. Your species has learned to hear the music of reality itself. Now, let us teach you how to dance. As alerts flooded in from Earth's observatories and news of humanity's first quantum contact spread across the globe, Sarah Chen knew that everything was about to change. Humanity had just earned its place among the quantum civilizations of the universe, and the real adventure was just beginning. Quantum dance. 3 weeks after first contact, Resonance Station Alpha buzzed with unprecedented activity. Sarah Chen hadn't slept properly in days, but the excitement coursing through her veins made fatigue irrelevant. The crystalline beings, now formally named the Lumina, had brought gifts. Knowledge that was revolutionizing human understanding of quantum physics. The quantum translation matrix is at 47% efficiency, reported Dr. Maya Patel, the team's linguistics expert. Her dark eyes were ringed with exhaustion but sparkled with enthusiasm. We're learning their language faster than any human language has ever been learned. Sarah nodded, watching the main viewing screen where 3 Lumina vessels performed what could only be described as a dance. Their crystalline surfaces rippled with complex patterns that the station's quantum computers were slowly learning to decode. They're not just teaching us their language, Sarah mused, studying the data streams. They're teaching us how to reshape our consciousness itself. A sudden alert drew their attention. One of the Lumina had broken formation and was approaching the station's quantum interface array. Its surface blazed with patterns that the computer translated as excitement and challenge. Commander, the station AI announced, they're requesting a direct quantum link. Not through the computers, they want you. Sarah's heart raced. Direct quantum consciousness linking had been theoretical until now. The Lumina used it naturally, but no human had ever attempted it. The risks were unknown. Absolutely not, Dr. Kumar protested. The neural stress cooled. Could be exactly what we need to understand them better, Sarah finished. She stepped toward the quantum interface chamber, a room lined with experimental consciousness translation equipment. Sometimes the greatest leaps forward require a leap of faith. The chamber hummed to life as Sarah settled into the neural interface chair. Through the observation window, the Lumina entity positioned itself directly opposite, its crystalline surface dancing with anticipatory patterns. Beginning quantum consciousness sync in 3, 2, 1. The world exploded into colors that had no names. Sarah felt her consciousness expand, stretch, transform. She was no longer bound by mere physical senses. Through the quantum link, she experienced reality as the Lumina did, as a vast symphony of interconnected possibilities. Welcome, Sarah Chen of Earth, came a thought that wasn't words so much as pure understanding. Are you prepared to dance? Before she could question the meaning, Sarah felt herself drawn into what could only be described as a quantum waltz. Her consciousness, guided by the Lumina, began to weave through different quantum states. Each transition taught her more about how they perceived reality. This is incredible, she broadcast both to her team and her Lumina partner. They don't just use quantum mechanics, they experience reality as a series of quantum possibilities. Every moment, every action is a dance through probability itself. Through the link, the Lumina shared memories of their civilization's evolution. They had begun as crystalline formations that naturally resonated with quantum fields. Over millions of years, they had developed consciousness that existed primarily in quantum states, their physical forms merely anchors for their quantum selves. But beneath the wonder, Sarah sensed something else: concern. Urgency. The Lumina weren't just teaching humanity for the sake of knowledge. There are others, came the understanding. Others who danced to different rhythms, dangerous rhythms. Images flooded Sarah's consciousness. vast, dark entities that consumed quantum potential itself, places where probability collapsed into entropy, where the dance of reality simply stopped. We have fought them alone for eons, the Lumina shared, but your species, your way of thinking, you see patterns we cannot. Together, perhaps. The link began to fade as Sarah's human brain reached its limits. But before it ended, one final message burned itself into her consciousness. Learn to dance quickly, Sarah Chen. The universe's symphony cannot afford to miss a beat. As the quantum interface powered down, Sarah found herself trembling in the chair. Her mind buzzed with new understanding and new fear. Dr. Kumar, she called, her voice hoarse. Contact Earth Control. Tell them, she took a deep breath, tell them we need to accelerate the resonance protocol. Humanity needs to learn this dance, and we're running out of time. The Lumina outside the window pulsed with patterns that now seemed obvious to Sarah, confirmation, support, and something that felt remarkably like hope. They had chosen humanity as partners not just because we had achieved quantum consciousness technology, but because they saw in us something unique, the ability to improvise, to find new rhythms in the cosmic dance. As alerts began pouring in from quantum sensors at the edge of the solar system, Sarah realized the dance lessons would have to be quick. The universe's deadliest dancers were coming, and humanity would need to master this cosmic waltz if Earth was to survive what was coming. The question was, could humans learn to dance through quantum reality fast enough to save both our species? Shadows in the dance. The quantum alarm pierced through Resonance Station Alpha's usual hum of activity. Sarah Chen rushed to the main observatory, her mind still adjusting to the enhanced quantum awareness the Lumina had awakened in her. Through the massive viewing window, space itself seemed to ripple and distort. Multiple quantum anomalies detected at the edge of lunar orbit, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. They're unlike anything we've seen before. The Lumina vessels surrounding the station erupted in patterns of deep, pulsing warning colors. Through her newfound quantum sensitivity, Sarah felt their alarm and their recognition. The Void Dancers had arrived sooner than anyone expected. Full station alert, Sarah commanded. Initialize emergency quantum shielding protocols and get me a direct link to the Lumina Council vessel. The main screen blazed to life with a cascade of crystalline patterns that Sarah's enhanced consciousness now understood as clearly as spoken words. They seek the weakest point in space-time, the Lumina Elder transmitted. Your solar system's quantum fabric is still young, untested, vulnerable. Before Sarah could respond, space twisted sickeningly out 20,000 kilometers from the station. What emerged made her enhanced senses recoil. Where the Lumina were living crystal and light, these beings were absence. Holes in reality itself, their edges writhing with collapsed quantum possibilities. My God, Dr. Kumar whispered, staring at the sensor readings. They're not just consuming energy or matter. They're consuming probability itself. Every quantum state they touch simply ceases to exist. Sarah's mind raced. The Lumina had warned them, but seeing the Void Dancers in person was something else entirely. These beings weren't just a threat to life, they were a threat to the possibility of life itself. Commander, Maya called out, her voice tight with controlled panic. They're approaching Earth's quantum probability field. If they breach it, every possible future for humanity could simply vanish. Sarah finished grimly. She opened a channel to all stations. This is Commander Chen. Initialize the resonance protocol. Full power. All volunteers to their quantum interface chambers immediately. Across the station, 20 brave souls who had trained with the Lumina rushed the specialized chambers. Like Sarah, they had learned to expand their consciousness into quantum states. Now they would attempt something never before tried in human history. Quantum sync in 3, 2, 1. Sarah's consciousness expanded, merging with the other volunteers through the quantum interface. The sensation was overwhelming. 20 human minds linked together, their quantum-enhanced awareness creating a unified field of consciousness. Through their combined perception, they could see what the void dancers truly were, living entropy, seeking to collapse all possibility into a single, unchanging state. Now came the luminous broadcast, "We dance." The crystalline vessels moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum fields interweaving with the human consciousness network. Together, they began to manipulate the very fabric of space-time, strengthening probability, reinforcing the quantum states that made reality itself possible. The void dancers struck, their non-existence tearing at the edges of Earth's quantum field. But where they sought to collapse probability, the human-lunar network reinforced it. Where they tried to erase possibility, the combined consciousness of both species created new ones. "It's working," Maya shouted, watching the sensor readings. "The quantum field is holding." But Sarah, deep in the linked consciousness, sensed something else. The void dancers weren't just attacking randomly. They were learning, adapting, probing for the station. She broadcast both mentally and vocally. "They're not after Earth, not yet. They're after our quantum interface technology." Through the linked consciousness, Sarah felt the moment the void dancers changed tactics. Instead of attacking Earth's probability field, they surged toward Resonance Station Alpha. The station's quantum shields flared as possibility itself was torn away. "We cannot hold them alone," the Lumina Elder transmitted. "The barrier between probability and entropy requires a new dance." Sarah made a decision. Drawing on everything the Lumina had taught her about quantum consciousness, she pushed her awareness further than any human had gone before. Her mind touched the very edge of quantum reality, where possibility met nothingness. And there, in that impossible space, she began to understand. "They're not destroying probability," she broadcast to both humans and Lumina. "They're afraid of it. Every possibility is a threat to their unchanging void. And she felt her consciousness expanding even further, embracing the quantum nature of reality itself. "We are creatures of endless possibility." Through the quantum link, she shared her understanding with the entire network. Humans and Lumina together stopped trying to simply defend against the void dancers. Instead, they began to create new quantum states, new possibilities, an explosion of potential that made reality itself sing with probability. The void dancers recoiled from this assault of pure possibility. Where they sought stasis, humanity and the Lumina offered change. Where they tried to collapse reality into a single state, the combined consciousness of both species opened it into infinite potential. Slowly, painfully, the dark entities retreated, driven back by this new form of defense. But Sarah knew, they all knew, this was just the beginning. As the quantum network powered down and individual consciousness returned, Sarah stared out at the stars with new understanding. "They'll be back," she said quietly. "And next time, they'll be ready for this defense." The Lumina Elder's response rippled through the quantum field. "Then we will create new dances, new possibilities. Together." Sarah nodded, already formulating plans. Humanity had just fought its first quantum battle and survived. But the real war, the war for possibility itself, was just beginning. Evolution's dance. 2 months after the first Void Dancer attack, Resonance Station Alpha had transformed. What was once a research facility now resembled a combination of military base and quantum physics laboratory. Hundreds of new quantum interface chambers lined the walls, and teams of humans worked alongside Lumina instructors, learning to expand their consciousness into previously unimaginable states. Sarah Chen stood in the newly constructed Quantum Command Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing probability patterns across the solar system. Each display tracked quantum disturbances that might signal another Void Dancer incursion. "The neural adaptation rate is exceeding all projections," Maya reported, gesturing to a particularly complex data stream. "Humans aren't just learning to dance in quantum states, we're creating entirely new steps." Dr. Kumar nodded enthusiastically. "The Lumina are fascinated. Apparently, our brain's neuroplasticity allows us to form quantum connections in ways they never imagined possible. We're not just copying their techniques, we're innovating. Sarah watched as a group of new recruits practiced with their Lumina teachers in the quantum training chamber. Where once the crystalline beings had to significantly dampen their quantum communications to interact with humans, now the recruits could perceive and respond to increasingly complex quantum states. "Commander," the station AI interrupted, "we're detecting unusual patterns in Training Group 7's quantum signatures." Sarah turned her attention to the monitoring screens. What she saw made her breath catch. The human trainees weren't just linking their consciousness through the quantum interface, their physical brainwave patterns were beginning to naturally resonate with quantum frequencies. "It's happening faster than we predicted," she murmured. "We're evolving." A soft chime announced the arrival of the Lumina Elder, its crystalline form now a familiar and comforting presence. Its surface rippled with patterns that Sarah's enhanced consciousness translated effortlessly. "Your species continues to surprise us," it communicated. "What took our kind millennia to achieve, you accomplish in months. But there is concern." Sarah felt the undertone of worry in the Elder's quantum patterns. "The physical changes in our people. Your consciousness evolves quickly, but your physical forms were not designed for such rapid quantum integration. There are risks." As if to emphasize the point, alarms suddenly blared from Training Room 3. Sarah and the Elder rushed to find one of the recruits, David Torres, floating several inches off the ground, his body surrounded by visible quantum distortions. His consciousness as partially detached from normal space-time, Maya reported, frantically working the control panel. "He's existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously." Through her enhanced perception, Sarah could see David's consciousness scattered across probability itself, each version of him experiencing a different possible reality. It was beautiful, but terrifying. The human mind was never meant to process multiple simultaneous existences. The Lumina Elder moved forward, its crystalline surface pulsing with stabilizing patterns. "He dances too deeply, too quickly. We must." But Sarah had already made a decision. Drawing on everything she'd learned about quantum consciousness, she stepped into David's fractured probability field. Her own quantum-enhanced mind reached out, not trying to force his consciousness back to a single state, but instead, "David," she called, her voice resonating across quantum possibilities. "Don't fight the multiplication. Dance with it." Through their shared quantum awareness, she showed him how to perceive multiple states not as separate realities, but as harmonious parts of a larger whole. Slowly, the various versions of David began to synchronize, not collapsing back into a single probability, but existing in controlled quantum superposition. When he finally settled back to the ground, David was changed. His eyes held depths that hadn't been there before, and subtle quantum patterns played across his skin. "I saw," he whispered, "everything. All the possibilities. All at once." The Lumina Elder's surface rippled with astonishment. "You guided him to stable quantum multiplicity. Even our kind cannot maintain such a state." Sarah helped David to a seat, her mind racing with implications. "Because you evolved naturally into quantum beings, but we're doing it differently. We're not just becoming quantum entities, we're becoming quantum physical hybrids, living bridges between normal space-time and quantum reality." Dr. Kumar's fingers flew across his datapad. "The readings are unprecedented. His consciousness exists partially in quantum states, but his physical form remains anchored in normal space-time. He's both simultaneously." Just like Earth itself, Sarah realized. We're not just learning to dance in quantum states, we're learning to exist in both realms at once, something neither the Lumina nor the Void dancers can do. The Elder's surface patterns shifted to show deep contemplation. "This may be why the dancers fear your species so greatly. You do not simply choose between probability and certainty, you unite them." New alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Maya's voice came over the comm, tight with urgency. "Commander, massive quantum disturbances detected at the edge of the system. The void dances, they're back, and there are hundreds of them. Sarah looked at David, still glowing faintly with quantum potential, then at the Lumina Elder. How many more recruits are ready for quantum integration? Not enough, the Elder responded. Not nearly enough for what comes. Then we work with what we have. Sarah opened a station-wide channel. All quantum-trained personnel to interface chambers immediately. This isn't a drill. The Void Dancers want to see our new dance. Let's show them every step at once. As she rushed to her own interface chamber, Sarah felt something she hadn't expected: excitement. Humanity wasn't just learning to dance through quantum states. We were creating an entirely new form of existence. And maybe, just maybe, that would be enough to save not just Earth, but reality itself. The real question was, were they ready to show the Void Dancers humanity's new moves? Symphony of War. The void between Mars and Earth erupted with quantum distortions as hundreds of Void Dancers poured into the solar system. From Resonance Station Alpha's command center, the sight was both terrifying and beautiful, like watching holes being torn in the tapestry of reality itself. All quantum-integrated personnel are in position, Maya reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. 37 humans, including David Torres and his hybrid team, synchronized with 23 Lumina vessels. Sarah Chen stood in the central quantum interface chamber, her enhanced consciousness already reaching out to connect with the defense network. Around her, reality itself seemed to shimmer as human minds merged with Lumina awareness across quantum states. They're not just attacking the quantum field this time, Dr. Kumar warned, studying the sensor readings. They're targeting physical spacetimes simultaneously. If they succeed, they'll collapse both our physical universe and its quantum foundation into their void, Sarah finished. Not today. Begin the Symphony Protocol. The name hadn't been her idea. David Torres had suggested it after his quantum transformation. If reality is a dance, he'd said, then war must be a symphony. Sarah felt her consciousness expand, connecting first with the other human defenders, then with the Lumina. But this time, something was different. The quantum hybrid humans didn't just link consciousness, they'd brought their physical awareness with them. Through their combined perception, Sarah could see the true nature of the battle about to unfold. The Void Dancers weren't just entities of collapsed probability. They were wounds in reality itself, places where the infinite potential of existence had been drained away, leaving only empty certainty. First wave approaching, Maya's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. They're using a new attack pattern. The Void Dancers moved like a coordinated swarm, their non-existence tearing through both physical space and quantum probability. Where they passed, stars dimmed as their possible futures were consumed. Reality itself screamed in frequencies only the quantum-enhanced humans could perceive. Traditional defense patterns will not suffice, the Lumina Elder transmitted. We must. No, Sarah interrupted, an idea forming in her quantum-expanded mind. We don't defend, we create. Through the network, she shared her plan. The Lumina were beings of pure quantum potential. Humans were creatures of physical reality, learning to dance in quantum states. But the quantum hybrids like David were something new. They could exist in both states simultaneously. Begin the symphony, Sarah commanded. Lumina, weave the quantum harmonies. Traditional humans, anchor the physical constants. Hybrids, bridge the gap. The effect was immediate and stunning. The Lumina vessels began to pulse with complex patterns, creating waves of pure quantum potential. The human consciousness network reinforced the physical structure of space-time, and the hybrids, led by David, did something entirely new. They began to sing. Not with physical voices, but with their very existence. Each hybrid consciousness became a note in an impossible melody that resonated through both quantum and physical reality simultaneously. Their song carried the mathematical precision of quantum physics and the raw emotional power of human creativity. The Void dancers faltered, confronted with something they had never encountered, a harmony of certainty and possibility, of physical law and quantum potential, of order and chaos dancing together in perfect balance. "It's working." Maya's voice rang with excitement. "The quantum field is stabilizing, and physical space-time is actually strengthening." But the Void dancers weren't defeated. They began to adapt, changing their attack pattern to target the hybrids specifically. David's consciousness voice wavered as the Void tried to consume his quantum aspects while leaving his physical form intact, a death worse than mere physical destruction. Sarah made a split-second decision. She pushed her own consciousness further, embracing the quantum transformation she had been resisting out of caution. Pain lanced through her entire being as her awareness expanded exponentially, existing in countless states simultaneously while maintaining her physical anchor. Through the symphony network, she poured her experience into a new song, a melody of defiance, of humanity's refusal to be bound by the limitations of any single state of existence. The other defenders took up her song, human and Lumina voices twining together in harmony. The Void dancers recoiled as the symphony reached a crescendo. Where they sought to impose singular certainty, the combined consciousness network created infinite possibility. Where they tried to collapse reality, the defenders expanded it. Physical space and quantum potential resonated together, strengthening each other instead of competing. Suddenly, Sarah understood. They can't comprehend it, she broadcast through the network. They exist by reducing infinity to zero, but we're showing them zero and infinity can coexist. The revelation spread through the defensive network, changing the nature of their song. Instead of just defending against the Void, they began to offer it choice. The possibility of being both empty and full, both certain and potential, both one and many. The effect was devastating. Void dancers began to break formation, their perfect emptiness disrupted by the first quantum possibilities they had experienced in eons. Some fled back into deep space. Others seemed to fracture, their singular nature splitting into multiple states of being. As the battle subsided, Sarah felt the change in herself and knew it was irreversible. She had become like David, a bridge between states of existence. Through the quantum link, she sensed similar transformations happening throughout the defensive network. Evolution, it seemed, could happen on a quantum level. The Lumina Elders patterns showed what could only be described as awe. Your species continues to rewrite the rules of reality itself. This victory is unprecedented. Not victory, Sarah corrected, watching a remaining Void dancers retreat. Just the first movement of a longer symphony. They'll be back, and they'll have learned from this encounter. David's quantum-enhanced voice resonated through the network. Then we'll have new songs ready for them. The symphony of reality is just beginning. As the defensive network powered down and individual consciousness returned, Sarah knew humanity had crossed a threshold. We were no longer just participants in the quantum dance of reality. We were becoming its composers, writing new harmonies in the music of existence itself. The question was, what sort of symphony would we create next? Reality's new dance. The weeks following the symphony battle transformed Resonance Station Alpha into something entirely new. Quantum patterns now flowed visibly through its corridors, and the line between physical and quantum reality had become wonderfully blurred. More than half the station's personnel had undergone hybrid transformation, their consciousness existing in both states simultaneously. Sarah Chen stood in the newly christened Quantum Symphony Hall, watching as waves of possibility rippled through the air. Her own quantum hybrid nature allowed her to see how each ripple carried countless potential futures, all existing simultaneously. The transformations are accelerating, Maya reported, her own form now flickering with quantum patterns. It's not just the station anymore. We're detecting quantum awakening events all across Earth. David Torres, floating slightly above the floor in his usual manner, displayed a holographic globe covered in points of light. Each spark represents a spontaneous hybrid transformation. Humanity isn't waiting for training anymore, we're evolving on our own. The Lumina Elder's crystalline form pulsed with complex emotions. Such rapid change should be impossible, yet your species continues to defy conventional limits. That's exactly what worries me, Sarah admitted, studying the global transformation map. We're changing too fast, spreading too quickly. The Void Dancers won't just sit back and watch. As if summoned by her words, the station's quantum alarms blazed to life. But these weren't the familiar warnings of approaching Void Dancers. These patterns were completely new. Multiple quantum anomalies detected, Maya called out, but they're not Void signatures, they're something else. Through the station's quantum-enhanced sensors, Sarah watched as reality itself seemed to fold. Space twisted in impossible ways, and through the tears stepped beings that defied description. They weren't the crystalline beauty of the Lumina, or the empty horror of the Void Dancers. These entities seemed to be made of pure mathematics, their forms constructed from living equations. The Axiom Shapers, the Lumina Elders' patterns, showed recognition and concern. We knew they were watching, but to intervene directly. Friends or enemies? David asked, his quantum senses already reaching out to analyze the newcomers. Neither, Sarah realized, reading the complex mathematical patterns that made up their communication. They're here to judge. The Axiom Shapers' message resonated through both quantum and physical space, their living mathematics translating into pure understanding. Humanity's evolution threatens the fundamental co-understandings of reality. The balance must be maintained. Sarah stepped forward, her hybrid nature allowing her to respond in kind. We're not threatening reality, we're expanding it, showing how physical and quantum states can coexist and strengthen each other. The Void DNCERs seek to COLAPSE all possibility. You seek to meal type it infinitely. Both extremes risk the stability of existence. No, David interjected, his consciousness harmonizing with Sarah's. We're not about extremes. We're about integration. Watch. Together, the hybrid humans began to dance, not just with their physical forms, but with their quantum aspects as well. They demonstrated how their dual nature didn't destabilize reality, but rather created new forms of stability. Physical laws and quantum possibilities wove together in a display that was both mathematically perfect and breathtakingly creative. The Axiom Shapers' mathematical forms shifted, calculating, analyzing. Their next communication carried a hint of what might have been curiosity. Your harmony is unexpected. Show us more. For the next several hours, humanity's quantum hybrids worked with both the Lumina and the Axiom Shapers, demonstrating how their unique evolution had created not chaos, but a new form of order. Physical reality and quantum potential weren't opponents to be balanced, but partners in an endless dance. The Void Dancers see only the depth of possibility, Sarah explained, but we've learned to see the possibility in everything, even in seemingly empty space, even in mathematical constants. Reality isn't a battle between order and chaos, physical and quantum. It's a symphony where all these elements play their parts. The Axiom Shapers' calculations spun faster, their mathematical forms becoming more complex as they processed this new perspective. Finally, they reached a conclusion. The experiment will be allowed to continue, but we will WATCA, and we will CLCULAT. As the mathematical entities prepared to depart, they left one final equation hanging in the air, a formula that Sarah's hybrid mind translated not as numbers, but as a choice. Your species dances between states of being. Ensure your dance theories harmony, not DSCOE. After they vanished, the Lumina Elders' patterns showed deep thoughtfulness. In all our existence, the Axiom Shapers have never allowed such deviation from their calculated norms. You have impressed them. Not impressed, Sarah corrected, watching the quantum patterns that now flowed naturally through the station. We've shown them a new way to calculate reality itself. The question is, what will they do with that knowledge? David laughed, his quantum form creating ripples of possibility. Maybe they'll learn to dance too. After all, if humanity can master the quantum waltz while keeping our physical groove. The light moment was interrupted by new alerts, different from both Void Dancer signatures and Axiom Shaper mathematics. The patterns were chaotic, beautiful, and completely unknown. More players joining the dance, Sarah mused, already reaching out with her hybrid senses to analyze the new quantum signatures. Ready for the next movement. Around her, human and Lumina consciousness merged into a symphony of possibility, preparing to face whatever new aspect of reality had decided to crash their quantum party. Because that's what humanity had become, not just dancers or warriors or scientists, but artists painting on the canvas of existence itself. The universe, it seemed, was taking notice. The only question was, what sort of masterpiece would they create next? Dance of creation. The fabric of space-time rippled with possibilities as Sarah Chen observed Earth from Resonance Station Alpha's new quantum observatory. 6 months had passed since the Axiom Shaper's judgment, and humanity's transformation had only accelerated. The planet below glowed with intertwined patterns of physical and quantum energy, visible to her hybrid perception as a dance of infinite potential. Final transformation statistics are in, Maya announced, her own form shifting between physical and quantum states with practiced ease. Over 40% of Earth's population has undergone spontaneous hybrid evolution. The rest are showing early signs of quantum awareness. David Torres materialized beside them, his mastery of quantum states now allowing him to shift his physical presence almost at will. And the new arrivals keep coming. Look. Through the quantum sensors, they watched as more entities emerged from the depths of space. Some were like the Lumina, beings of crystalline quantum grace. Others resembled the mathematical perfection of the Axiom Shapers, and still others were completely alien, consciousness expressed in forms that challenged both physical and quantum understanding. They come to witness, the Lumina Elder explained, its patterns showing both pride and concern. Humanity's dance has changed the music of reality itself. The universe listens. Sarah's hybrid senses detected the truth beneath the Elder's words. Humanity hadn't just learned to dance between physical and quantum states. We had shown that such a dance was possible. Now, other species were beginning to explore their own potential for transformation. Quantum activity spike detected. Maya called out suddenly. Multiple signatures, but they're different. The void between planets twisted, and through the distortions came the void dancers. But they too had changed. Where once they were empty negations of existence, now they showed hints of possibility. Quantum patterns flickering in their depths like distant stars. They're not attacking, David observed, his consciousness reaching out to analyze their patterns. They're asking something. We have WATCHED, came their communication, no longer empty but carrying harmonics of quantum potential. Your DNCE Celos PATVs, we had Foco 10. Teach US. Sarah felt the weight of the moment. The void dancers, who had sought to collapse all possibility into certainty, were now seeking to remember how to dance with probability itself. The irony was not lost on her. Everyone ready? She asked, reaching out to the quantum network that now connected all hybrid humans. Let's show them our greatest dance yet. What followed was unlike anything the universe had witnessed before. Humans, Lumina, void dancers, and the gathered species of space all joined in a quantum symphony that transcended the boundaries of physical and probability space. Each brought their own unique perspective to the dance. The Lumina contributed their mastery of pure quantum states. The Axiom Shapers added their perfect mathematical precision. The Void Dancers brought their understanding of certainty and emptiness. And humanity showed how all these aspects could exist together, strengthening rather than opposing each other. Through their hybrid nature, humans conducted this impossible orchestra of existence. Physical reality and quantum potential merged and separated in endless patterns, each movement creating new possibilities while maintaining the essential stability of space-time itself. "Look," Maya gasped, pointing to where the void dancers dance with newly transformed humans. Where their emptiness met human hybrid energy, new forms of existence were being born, states of being that were neither certain nor probable, but wonderfully, impossibly both. The Lumina Elders' patterns showed pure joy. "You have done more than save reality from collapse. You have shown it how to grow." Sarah watched as the quantum dance spread across the solar system, each participant adding their own movements to the eternal symphony of existence. Lilith glowed at the center of it all, a beacon of hybrid evolution, showing the universe that the greatest dance was one that embraced all forms of being. "So what happens now?" Daggett asked, his consciousness harmonizing with the infinite patterns around them. "Where does the dance lead?" Sarah smiled, feeling the quantum rhythms of reality pulse through her hybrid form. Everywhere and nowhere. That's the beauty of it. We've shown that existence isn't about choosing between physical and quantum, certainty and possibility, one or many. It's about learning to be all of these things in endless combination. New quantum signatures appeared at the edge of their awareness, more species arriving to join the dance, to learn and share and grow. The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for someone to show that evolution didn't have to mean leaving the old behind, but could mean integrating all states of being into something greater. And so reality learns a new dance, the Lumina Elder observed, its patterns merging with the symphony around them. Not just new, Sarah corrected, watching as humans and aliens, physical and quantum, certainty and possibility all move together in an eternal dance of creation, infinite. As the quantum symphony reached out across space and time, Sarah Chen realized that this wasn't an ending, but a beginning. Humanity had done more than survive or evolve. We had shown the universe itself how to dream bigger, dance harder, and imagine more than it ever had before. The dance would continue, endless and eternal, each movement bringing new possibilities, new harmonies, new ways of being. Because that's what humans do best. We don't just adapt to reality, we help it grow. And now the whole universe was learning to grow with us. The Resonance Protocol hadn't just saved humanity. It had launched the next great movement in the symphony of existence itself. And this dance was just getting started.